Good afternoon, good morning, depending upon where you are watching us today, listening to us. Welcome to Foul Territory, everybody. I'm Alanna Rizzo, filling in for Scott Braun, alongside Erik Kratz, AJ Pierzynski, the regulars. Boys, good to see you again. Spot starting once again. I think we should make it a rule that Scott Braun, AJ, cannot go to Mexico ever again.
I think we should make it a rule that Alanna hosts for Scott all the time, or anybody for that matter. I think Scott, he poked himself in the eye on purpose. Montezuma came up and got him. I don't know what's going on with Scott, but I'm just happy he's not sitting next to me because whatever he has, I don't want.
Yeah, we have a great show today, Erik Kratz. We have Pete Fairbanks joining us. Jayson Werth is joining us. Mitch Bannon is going to be on the program talking all things Blue Jays. Good to be with you again, Kratzy. No more Mexico for Scott Braun, okay?
No, that's fair. But, everything's really related around the Dodgers. And we're the Dodgers of baseball content on YouTube and on FanDuel. And you know what? We don't just get AAA fill-ins. We have big league fill-ins. And you are our big league fill-in today, Alanna.
Well, I appreciate that very much. So let's get the program started, shall we not? How about we charge the mound?
He's charging the mound.
And guys, what's not big league right now is the Colorado Rockies, which we're going to get to in a second. But let's start with the New York Metropolitans. Anthony DiComo of The Athletic tweeting this earlier. The Mets have scored 23 runs in their last 8 innings. An astounding 22 of the last 48 Mets batters have scored. That's 46%, guys. I'd say that's pretty good. Mets are 8th in terms of their 8th straight win. AJ, what do you make of it?
Well, every team goes through hot streaks, and they're playing really well right now. Their offense is looking good. They're winning games they shouldn't win. They're winning games they should win, and they're just swinging it. This lineup looks great. Even without Juan Soto, I know people are asking about it, but Juan Soto's not crushing it. Pete Alonso's crushing it. Starling Marte's back. A lot of the guys you're not counting on are doing some things. But, man, this team looks good. If they keep swinging it like this, it's going to be hard for them not to be number one in Alanna's power rankings.
Hey, that's a little bit of a foreshadowing, if you will, AJ. By the way, Anthony DiComo writes for MLB.com, not The Athletic. My apologies. Erik, this is a Mets team that is doing things that perhaps we thought wouldn't be possible because I didn't think their starting rotation was as good as it is. I know we're talking the Mets offense, but are we not giving the Mets rotation enough credit?
No, we're definitely not. We're definitely not giving the offense enough credit. I mean, we're trying to right now with his tweet about 23 runs in 8 innings. Guess who's not doing this? Their $765 million man is just average. Like he's just, I think it's 122 OPS plus. So he's 22% above league average, but his OPS is 772. When he gets hot, the rest of his lineup is going to be looking unbelievable. But the starting rotation, right now, every week we say it. How's it gonna hold up? Well, now we're in about a year and 2 months now of the David Stearns era of this pitching staff not having that number one marquee name, and it's holding up quite fine.
AJ, does that mean when Juan Soto gets things going, the Mets are just unstoppable, or do you think the rest of the lineup comes back to earth?
If the rest of the lineup stays hot like this, but everyone, listen, the season is like this as a player, okay? You try to keep your lows as high as you can and your highs as high as you can. So you always want to be high like Scott. Just kidding. But you want to be like this, okay? So you want to keep your lows as high as possible. And the thing is that I think, well, obviously Juan Soto is going to get it going. Now, they need Pete Alonso to keep swinging it because Juan Soto might not get pitches to hit if Pete Alonso doesn't stay hot. But I think that this lineup has sustainability. They've done it before. They did it for the second half last year. I think the pitching, as good as they've been, yes, I know they've been good, but I'm a little worried because they do use their bullpen more than almost any other team in baseball. They have to get a little more length from their starting pitching. They need Manaea back. I'm not counting on Montas to come back, but they need Manaea back. They need Senga to stay healthy. They need Peterson to keep throwing the way he's throwing, and they need some length because the bullpen eventually gets worn out, Kratz, as you've seen.
Well, it also, to your point, AJ and Kratz, I want you to talk about this. AJ Minter could miss significant time as the Mets mold their options. I mean, this is a guy that was pitching really well, a 1.64 ERA in 13 appearances. As AJ mentioned, they use their bullpen arms quite a bit. How do you think this impacts them?
Huge. You can't take a dude out of the bullpen rotation that is a prime inning eater. He's not the left on left specialist like most teams have, like a lefty specialist, but it does take them down to essentially one guy in their bullpen, Danny Young, who throws left-handed. And you got to go through the gauntlet of the NL East that has some pretty good left-handed hitters: Schwarber, Harper, Olsen. You want to turn Ozzie Albies around. Like there's some navigating that they have to do through this bullpen when you lose a piece like this. And hey, you know what? This is me hating on them. You just think there's going to be some regression, but when there's regression, you already have a 4.5 game lead. Like it's a good problem to have if you're the Mets, to say, okay, now we have some time to figure out how to replace AJ Minter, because that's a huge shoes to fill.
Is he replaceable, AJ? He's been one of baseball's top left-handed relievers since 2017, not just this season. I mean, since 2017, a 3.28 earned run average over 8 seasons with the Braves before joining the Mets on that 2-year, $22 million deal. So $11 million a year for AJ Minter at this point seems like a steal. But if he's hurt for the long term, I mean, that's a big void to fill.
Oh, this is a huge blow, and especially being left-handed and throws 100 with like a 95-mile-an-hour cutter. This guy's not a fun at-bat for a lefty. And in this division, like Kratz says, there's a ton of lefties that you have to run through in order to be able to win this division. And this is a big blow. Now, can the Mets recover from it? Yes. Hopefully he's not out for long, but it's still early in the year. There's people that can make moves, whatever it is. So it's not like this happened in September where then you're going to the postseason, you're scrambling to find that lefty. David Stearns, the Mets have plenty of time to recover from this. Let's just hope he comes back, because he is a weapon, and he's fun to watch pitch too. He gets excited, he gets emotional, he pumps his fist. I mean, this is someone that I enjoy watching. Glad I don't have to hit off of him.
Yeah, you guys obviously have caught a lot of different guys, and while we're not certain that AJ Minter is going to have surgery, Carlos Mendoza is saying it's a pretty significant issue. It's a lat issue. So from a mechanic perspective, Erik, when you have a pitcher that has a lat issue, how does that affect him?
I have no idea. I'll be honest, I've never hurt like the only time my lat ever hurts is when you do lat pull downs when you're lifting. Like pitchers get this. It's not something that catchers get, or it's not like, oh man, my lat is really sore. But the times that I did pitch, I threw off the mound, yes, my lat and the back of my shoulder would get sore afterwards. And so you sit there and you go, what is that from? Well, it's all part of the deceleration process. It's all part of anything lat and in the back is what slows everything down. And so you're afraid that if that's the issue, you got to make sure it's 100% when you come back, because then what's taking the brunt of it, slowing it down, it's the elbow. And that's no bueno. That's 100% guaranteed a year.
Yeah, I think you just wanted to show us that you've been lifting out, show us your muscles. AJ, he said, Minter did, that he would probably rather rehab it than obviously go straight to surgery. But in your experience, and I don't know that you've had a lat issue, but in your experience, can guys make it worse by trying to rehab it and work their way through it versus just having the surgery and getting it done?
I don't know this. I remember, listen, I played with Jake Peavy, who basically tore his lat off his bone back here. Like, it was a bad one. He was like the first guy I'd ever heard of doing this, and they had to reattach his lat, and he went on and pitched for a bunch more years. So I don't know what his surgery or what his significant injury and what significant time means. If he has surgery now and it gets him back before the end of the year, I would rather have him have surgery now. Now, if he rehabs and doesn't get better and then misses the rest of the year and some into next year, you should have done it earlier. But again, I don't know what the surgery could possibly be. Is he done for the year if he automatically has surgery? I don't know. If he rehabs it for 2 months and then still misses the year and is ready for spring training, is that fine? Sure. But whatever it is, the Mets just don't want him to be out for the entire year, and have him, if he is out for the entire year, have him ready for spring training next year.
What's the next man in mentality? Who do you think this is? Is it from within, Erik, or do you think they, as AJ was alluding to earlier, you go out and get somebody now?
I mean, David Stearns would just say, whoever I can claim off the DFA list. Like, that's what he did in Milwaukee. That's what he's done. Not essentially done in New York, but you're not going to go and get anybody. So it's really within. Who is it? You know, Budo has to step up. Ryan Stanek has to step up. I'm trying to see who else here. Reed Garrett and Max Kranick are unbelievable. They've been lights out. Like, we're talking like a whip of nothing. ERA plus of 2.52. Brazoban's been stepping up. To me, they already have the guys in the main spots in the game, deep in the game. They're going to have the other guys. Stanek, to me, is the guy. If I'm listing all those people out, Stanek's the guy who has done it before. He's opened a ton for the Rays, but he also has pitched late innings, closed out games. To me, he's got to step up. And I think with his veteran experience, that's the guy. That's why you get veteran guys to fill out your bullpen.
A guy that can do a lot of different things. The Mets are off to their best 30-game start, guys, to start a season since 2006. We'll have to see what happens in terms of this Minter situation. A team that's also making some history the other direction, though, AJ, the Colorado Rockies. They lost to the Braves 8-2. They have lost 16 of their last 17, guys. They're 4-25. And we talked about it a couple of days ago that they are on pace to actually best your Chicago White Sox, AJ, for the worst record in a single season. And it's only been a year. It's April, AJ, and they're 15 and a half games out of first place. What gives?
They're not very good. And you know what this is? We have talked about the Rockies and talked about the Rockies on the show. And I don't know if anyone else talks about the Rockies as much as we do. But what gives is it's the same story with the Rockies all the time. They have in-house, they stay inside their house, they never go out, and they went out and got Chris Bryant, but they needed more than that. They haven't figured out the pitching in Coors Field. They haven't figured out position playing in Coors Field. It's just the same old story with the Rockies, and everything ever changes. They have some young prospects come up, Arenado, Tulowitzki, all these guys, and they get pretty decent, and then they either trade them away or do something else, and now it's just everything is going wrong for the Rockies, and they're in a division that doesn't help them out with the Dodgers, D-backs, Giants, Padres, okay? So the fans keep coming. The ownership says, so what, we draw $2.5 million every year? We'll be fine. We'll keep making our money. But something's got to give in Colorado. I don't know what that is because I don't pay attention to them enough other than to talk about on here. But to be 4-25, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel sorry for the players. And I was embarrassed as a White Sox fan last year because of losing 121 games, and I was just watching. You're 4-25. Like, something has to give here. And I'm not calling for anybody to get fired. I'm not calling for anybody to lose their job or this or that. But at some point, you got to make some changes.
I mean, honest to goodness, though, like I grew up in Colorado. I'm born and raised in Colorado. I covered that team for 5 seasons, and the Rockies are lucky right now that the Avalanche and the Nuggets are in the postseason. And let's be honest, it is a Denver Broncos town. It always has been, and it always will be. The Rockies, though, don't have this rabid fan base in which they need to put together a winning product on the field. And obviously, you know, a Bud Black or whatever might be the scapegoat. He's on a year-to-year deal, but Kratz, Clint Hurdle became the new hitting coach who used to be their former manager. I think the Rockies are loyal to a fault, and they constantly promote from within instead of getting outside of the organization and offering perhaps a different look, a different voice, a different perspective. But Clint Hurdle, you know, he's not the second coming of the Messiah. I mean, and I have a great amount of respect for Clint, but it's not the hitting coach.
It's not the hitting coach, but I don't think they've won since he's become the hitting coach either. So that equals not a lot of scoring of runs. We talked about 2 teams on each end of the spectrum. The Mets, absolutely killing it. Almost every one of their players on their roster has above a 0 WAR. They're all producing and adding. 4 guys on the Rockies are producing. Positive, Jordan Beck has been doing awesome. Goodrum's been really stepping up behind the plate, being able to learn behind Jacob Stallings. But you just wonder why the decisions that they make to bolster this team, to add to this team, aren't really related to winning, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The front office has super athletic players all over the field. And maybe that's their MO. They're like, hey, we're going to have athletes. We're going to have Tovar at short, Gold Glove. We're going to have Brenton Doyle in center, Gold Glove. Is that how we're going to build this team? Great. then add in some guys that are going to be able to help lead these guys and help push them across, but also add some pitching. Stop. Like, I get it. You know, you have, I think Ryan Feltner's has the lowest ERA on the team, and it's like a 4.5. He doesn't pitch in, they don't all pitch in Colorado every single day. You go on the road. Of those 16 games, probably half were on the road. So the excuses are not going to change. They have to, as an organization, figure out how to build this roster to put a product out on the field that is not 4 and 25, 29 games into the season.
And that is partly because they gave, Chris Bryant a monster contract. And congratulations to Chris Bryant, by the way, who just hit 10 years of service time, but he's played, 6 games in the last 3 years. You let Nolan Arenado go, or you trade him away. You let DJ LeMahieu go. You let Trevor Story go. You trade away some of your key pieces. I mean, Charlie Blackmon didn't want to leave Colorado because he likes to fly fish. But the point is, they just don't they don't give themselves much of a chance to win on that team. I think they care a lot about, making it a good atmosphere in terms of fans for other things to do, but baseball isn't necessarily the priority, in my opinion, when it comes to the Rock Show. Much more to come on Foul Territory as we continue on this hump day. We're going to speak with Pete Fairbanks. Always a good interview when he joins the show. We'll be back right after this.
Kratz, let's talk about the #1 recommended dermatologist hair growth supplement brand. And it's a brand that you are just starting your journey with.
I'm using. What about 1.5, 2 months into my journey? It's a 6-month journey. See what I can get. See a little thicker, fuller everywhere, filling it out. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm very excited to see the Nutrafol results with Kratz. And don't show us your hat yet, okay? You got to stay tuned through this journey. And if you want to join Kratz for this journey, you can start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering FT listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FOUL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code FOUL. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code FOUL.
This is so cute, you guys. Junior Caminero was taking a picture with a young fan, and then he gave him his bat. Look at the stunned look of this young man where he got Caminero's bat. I mean, that's a fan for life. It takes a few seconds of Caminero's day, and that's it. He made that little boy's entire world. Look at it. Look at his facial expression. So excited, so gracious, so thoughtful, so excited. It's just fun. I mean, this is what bigger than baseball, right?
Isn't spring training great? Isn't spring training awesome when you get to meet? Oh, wait, never mind. That's big. Sorry, that's actually a big league game. Sorry, I got confused there for a second. Yeah, no, that was awesome. Listen, and anytime you're able to help kids out, give them batting gloves, give them a bat, whatever, it's cool. And you see the kid's look on his face. He'll be a Junior Caminero and a Rays fan for life.
Erik, were you one of those guys that stuck around and, signed every single person's ball, bat, glove, shirt, baby?
There were some times where I would sign the same thing twice. I'm like, I know I signed this before. I signed this for you before. But it's not fair to lump me in with guys like AJ. Like, people will take advantage of a guy like AJ, a superstar, somebody who is giving out autographs. Oh yeah, we'll definitely take it. When you're not the prime player on the team, when you're not the superstar on the team, to me, I think you really should take that time out to be able to give those fans that interaction. Even like they don't care. They're getting an opportunity to talk to a big leaguer.
My favorite is when you find something for somebody and then they're like, "Who are you?" We'll be back with Pete Fairbanks next. And there he is. Welcome back to the show, Pete Fairbanks. Always appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be with us. You guys are doing pretty well. Won 5 in a row before losing last night to Kansas City. We won't talk about that one, but this is a Rays team that always seems to get it done. In your estimation, what's worked so far?
As I think I was talking to Ryan Bass yesterday. If you only give up 3 runs in a series, chances are you're going to at least win, one, maybe two of those games. Yeah, look, when we're playing well and we're preventing runs and we're getting the timely hits, things have been working out. We've had some guys that put together some really good at bats, and that just lends itself to success.
Are you at the field right now?
I am. I'm sitting in the what they would call the lounge. Nice ping pong
Okay.
table behind me.
Okay. Do you worry about microphones being put in different places because it's the Yankees facility, but you guys are using it? Do you guys like talk in code? Do you guys have meetings outside in the heat?
No, I think that we did a full sweep, kind of like Man from Uncle style. We got the big like buzzer out and kind of went around.
And how
Um,
many did you find?
and anything that we found, we'll just take up on our plane when we head up to New York on Friday.
Give it back to them.
hmm Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
just pass right. Kind of when the Army hammers is like these belong to you and starts dropping all the bugs. We'll just yeah.
do you do you have do you have FOMO? Or you feel like you're missing out on Tropicana Field? Or are you like,
Oh,
hey, we love this place?
no, I mean it's nice underneath. I'll say that. Come you know, first week of July, August, September, rainy season, we're definitely going to be having a little bit of FOMO for a roof. But no, it's been good so far. It's been fun to see it kind of a different crowd than we get over in St. Pete, and it's been good so for the what, 3 weeks that we've been here.
Do they have all the Yankee stuff covered? Because they had the big Yankee thing. What did they? And by the way, I've driven by there. I have not been to a game. I'm going to get to a game, but it says "Thank you Yankees" in giant letters on the scoreboard. Like you would think they could have covered that up, right? Like go Rays, Rayway.
Yeah, I mean, they put everything's pretty much covered. I don't know. I think we might have caused a fit if they had started covering up some of the monument stuff out front. But yeah, I mean, underneath at least there's no big Yankees logo in the clubhouse, and so that's about all that I need.
Have you walked around though? This is what I want to know. Have you walked around and asked anybody where is like Aaron Judge's locker, where is Volpe's locker, and then you're like, man, I'm going to do some damage so when they come back in spring training, they remember me.
You know, I would feel bad if I vandalize this place in any capacity because it is pretty nice. It is pretty nice.
Pete, you had a lot of different adjustments that looks like that you made in the season, or in the off season rather. What was the biggest thing that you did to go into the 2025 season that you wanted to make sure you avoided in 2024?
Yeah, my biggest thing was kind of ramping up in a little bit more responsible manner. I used a pulse sensor kind of for the first time this offseason, to try and get a little bit of um, objective feedback for throwing volume, throwing intensity, etc. And really just kind of tried to play out the on ramp a little bit longer and try and really set myself up for a healthy season since I've been unable to manage that for the most part.
How about this park? Do you guys drive up? I know it's not Wrigley, but when you drive up to Wrigley, you look at the flags. Do you drive up and look at a certain flag and you go, oh boy, maybe I got a little itis today. Maybe I got a little wind itis
Um,
today.
no, because when we go out and throw on the backfield pregame, the wind's blowing one way, and then at the first it's blowing a different way, and then by the time the seventh, eighth, and ninth roll around, it's swirled again, and it's in another completely different manner.
Pete, when you guys are there, you've played what 19? You've played all your home games now. You guys are going to be home gamed out by like June. Do you
Mhm.
look forward to a road trip? I know you have 2 young kids at home. So when you guys went on the road, were you thinking to yourself, man, I get to be by myself for 3 days?
Um, Not really. Maybe a little. Maybe like the first day is nice,
No,
right? Like you get to
I mean, it was only 3 days, so it wasn't like you
the
were gone for a week. But three
well,
days,
it's
you're
like
like,
yeah. You're like, all right, this is great for a day, and then the second day, I was like, I've played so much Assassin's Creed that I like don't know what to do with the rest of my morning. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, the West Coast one was great. I was like, man, we got a week. I'm going to be bored for the first couple of days and I'll go find some stuff for the kids or whatever. And then I woke up on their schedule on East Coast time for the first six, and that was not a great situation to be in.
Do you change your schedule for the year? Some guys, families, or do you see other guys changing their schedule for the year because you guys are so front loaded? Have you heard people talking about families are going to leave by July since nobody wants to be in Florida ever, but mostly in July, and you guys aren't going to be home?
I mean, that's going to work out great for my family because my son's in school, right? So we're going to hit June, July. He's going to be on summer break. It'll be a lot easier for them, to get out to wherever we're headed. But I think everybody's still going to be down here. It's for the most part, Tampa, underrated city. And there's only two of us that are getting to really enjoy our 30-minute commute from St. Pete. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, maybe some people might take a few more trips home than they might have in the past, but we'll see.
Pete, why do teams pitch to Judge? I really thought I would see a lot more four fingers go up when Aaron Judge is in the box, but it doesn't seem that way. Why do you think people pitch to him as much as they are?
Well, I think it's April. I think that at least, seasonally, that's got to be part of it, right? It's there's a lot of games to still be played, and I think that people are willing to be more aggressive. But look, the guy can hit, and I also he can do his damage on you, right? But you also don't want to just start putting people on willy nilly because that's how the your potential solo shot turns into a 2-run to a
Mhm.
3-run, and you start seeing things kind of go sideways from there, as opposed to if you have the ability to, you're gonna try and get your 3 outs regardless of who's coming up.
Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because people don't understand that. People don't understand, yes, Aaron Judge is hitting 400. Yes, his OPS plus is 1,000,000. Big league pitchers have a plan to get a guy out. It's not like, wow, I made the best pitch in the world and he just hit it 450 feet. Yeah, he might dunk one over the right field fence in Steinbrenner, but can you hit on that? How you guys, just how you talk? Because I've been in Snyder's pitchers meetings and how you guys talk about that stuff. Can you expand on that a little bit more and how pitchers really shouldn't be or aren't afraid of big league hitters?
Right. So especially us as a group, ours is really trying to separate our process from potential result. So, if we're hitting the stuff that we need to hit, right, whether it's first pitch strikes, it's expanding with two, it's being ahead after 3 pitches, etc. If we're able to separate, what we do and really boil it down to strike out, don't walk people, weak contact. And, if we can chase that process, then you can kind of, absolve yourself a little bit from the result and make it that much easier to, continue to reinvest in it being a process oriented thing for us. So we're going to do what we do, right? And if we get victimized, whether it's, an ambush, okay, well, that only happens 5% of the time. Let's put that to the side. Were we ahead in the count? Did we expand? Is it bad at ball luck, et cetera? There's a whole lot that goes into, us focusing on what we can control, and what we can control is our execution and throwing the ball over the plate.
Who is the most exciting young player that you're like, you know what, he's hitting right now on your roster? He's hitting right now. I want to see what he does, whether it's Caminero's power or Christopher Morel. I guess he's not a young guy. The fact that he's going to swing and dance around the bases. Is it Chandler Simpson just running in general? Who is it? Meisner just a clutch hit?
Look, I think the easy answer would be Chandler Simpson, but he's got enough media attention recently. So I'm going to go Cameron Meisner is going to be my guy. Um, Look, Simpson is great. He's the fastest human I've ever seen. Um, but I think up and down we've had a bunch of guys contribute, and that's been fun to watch when those people are getting their names called for the first or second time, and they're stepping up and meeting the bill. Has been a lot of fun to watch.
Do you look at the batter's box? I had a theory that if a pitcher, and Mike Trout and I talked about, if a pitcher wore Mike Trout's cleats, he's already stepping in the batter's box to be like, I'm 1-0. I'm probably going to hit a dinger off you. Do you look in the batter's box and go, that hitter's got a torpedo bat. no chance he's getting a hit because he's trying to find a gimmick bat that's trying to fix his brutal swing.
Which I had never seen one, and I think Richie was carrying, either Richie or Cabby was carrying one around last night, and I guess, I mean, if our engineers and scientists are out there saying that it's better, then I guess it's better potentially, but like it just looks like you'd be trying to hit something with a bowling pin, and maybe I just wasn't a good hitter, but I feel like I would not square a lot up. But it's worked for some of the guys who have swapped to it. It's kind of definitely a very unique looking instrument, but I try to not pay too much mind to whatever bat people are swinging.
How many beverages do you have during this interview? I see you with the coffee cup and all right. So staying hydrated, I guess.
So I was feeling a little fatigued on the way here, so I figured I'd
Okay.
get my second cup of coffee in, and then I had too much locker room coffee taste in my mouth, so I figured I'd try and
Okay.
wash it down with a little water.
Very good. Very good. If Chandler Simpson did a race running backwards, do you think you could beat him if you were running forward?
No,
No?
probably not. I'm not very flight of foot by any matter, and he, like I said, is probably the fastest human I've ever seen. So
I think you should test that out. Maybe in the off
I,
season. Don't mess up your year, but
yeah,
maybe
that
test that out.
seems like a way to get me either scolded or hurt, and I'm not sure which one of those would be worse.
You can't run the ball to the plate. Tell Alanna
That's true.
that's not what happens.
Very true. No,
All right,
but I would need my hand. I do need that left hamstring. That one is important, even if I don't run on it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Do we need to have more competitions like that? Or are players just so afraid and front offices so afraid of people getting hurt that we're just like, I would love to see the gimmicks, pitchers trying to do things that position players do. It's way more fun than a home run derby.
I think we should have a pitcher's home run derby if we have anything. I think that sounds
That might be boring.
personally like the best thing we could do. And we might have to move the fences in potentially, but I don't know. There's some pitchers are good at rotating, and if you're good at rotating, you can typically hit a baseball pretty well.
All right, you're drinking coffee right now. Jose Alvarado has a tattoo of an espresso cup on his forearm. Have you ever seen anybody drink 6 cups of espresso or 6 shots of espresso more than Alvarado? Have you seen anybody drink more than Jose Alvarado?
No, but we'll keep him nameless. But I did play with somebody that had to become a healthy scratch because he had one too many Cubanos down in Miami or cafecitos down in Miami.
And what did that look like? Did that look like just no blinking at all? Like you're on the mound. You don't blink on the mound.
No, listen, I know
Look.
what he's talking about. He's talking about cafecito and café cubano.
Yeah.
And if you have too much of that stuff, you're in AJ's Toro toilet or whatever the heck that Japanese
Toto.
toilet is.
It's a Toto. Ask Pete. I
Toto.
guarantee you Pete's been on a Toto before, and he loves it.
I've not been on a Toto, but we got some bidets in the trop, so I'm assuming it's pretty similar.
And
See?
cardiac arrest too from espresso. That's
Yeah,
too
we're
many.
gonna go. This nameless person was more on the thinking his heart was gonna beat through his chest than than the than the other side of things.
Hey Pete, you went to the University of Missouri,
Mhm.
right? Have you
That's
seen
not-
their
it's a-
baseball
it's a
team?
sore sub-
Have you seen their baseball team this year?
Yes, I have.
What's their record in the SEC? Do you think
I
that they
think
could win a
they're
game before the end of the year in the SEC?
They've got what, 6 tries left or 9 tries
Yeah.
left? Mangum assured me that if they played Mississippi State, they could beat them. But I have yet to see evidence to the contrary.
So Mangum, I was just in Mississippi State a couple weeks ago and I went to 2 games at the Dude. By the way, if you don't know Mangum, he's like a folk hero there. There was more Mangum jerseys.
He's a legend.
I'm like, they have all these other guys they could talk about, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why Mangum?
He's the mayor. kissing babies and shaking hands. The mayor of Starkville.
I mean, wow. I didn't realize. I knew he was a good player, but I didn't realize that when I walked in there, there'd be more Mangum jerseys than Palmeiro and Will Clark and some of these other. Brent Rooker won the Triple Crown in the SEC. They don't even talk about him.
No, he's not the all-time. Yeah, he's not the all-time SEC hit king. Nor do I think he was shaking hands and kissing babies to the extent that Mangum probably was.
They got a nice poster of Rook on there. They give Rook his due. When you talk about bad teams, do you guys in the locker room ever look up and go, man, that's got to be, how do you only win 4 games so far this year for the Rockies? Or do you say, man, I'm not even on that
One of them
team.
was against us.
I know, that's what I was going to get
One of
to.
them was against us. Look, I choose to treat it as anybody can beat you, as evidenced. Anybody can beat you at any time. Even if in the case of that second game against them, I think we hit like 1,200-mile-an-hour balls directly at people. But that's why it's a great game. You can, do everything right and never see a result for it. So, that's part of it. And the only team that I am, pretty down on right now is my Missouri Tigers, man. It's a sad time between that and the abysmal NCAA tournament performance. It's not a great time in the Tiger fandom.
Well, at least you have a baseball team at your university, and at least your basketball club made the tournament. So there we have it. Pete Fairbanks, a 2.38 ERA over 12 games. Rays looking good. We appreciate your time, my friend. Stay hydrated, and we will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Coming up on Foul Territory, the Hot Corner. That's next. All right, gentlemen, I wasn't here yesterday, but here are the Tuesday locks. It looks like Kratz, you were not a winner. Scott was a winner on the BetMGM stuff, but not in life right now as he's puking his brains out. AJ Pierzynski was a winner as well, plus 177. Checking at the money bags. Everybody is down with the exception of Pap. So there you have that. Erik, what is your lock for today?
I'm going to go with a parlay, something that I'm not hitting the straight bets. I'm not hitting the parlay. So I got to get one that I feel like is going to be good. I feel like some good matchups here. We go under the Yankees-Orioles game. I feel like they got all their runs out. A lot of the bullpens, the main arms are rested now. So it's going to be a little bit tougher to score. I know starting pitchup matchup says maybe it'll be otherwise, but I'm going over the Sacramento Athletics versus the Rangers, and that's just over 8, and that parlays to plus 185.
You know what? I wonder how many times, or if there is a bet where we could take the over-under on the line of how many times we actually say Oakland Athletics versus just Athletics or Sacramento Athletics.
I would never make that.
Should take the over on that, right? No matter what the line is, we should probably take the over of the incorrect time we actually say Oakland Athletics. Those poor folks. Who do you feel more sorry for, Pierzynski? The Athletics players or the Rockies players?
The Sacramento fans, because they didn't embrace them. How's that for now? The Rockies at least still get to play in a big league park and travel around and get to go to big league parks. But the Sacramento players, they're in a minor league park, much like the Rays. And the Rays are, like Pete Fairbanks said, it's a great complex, but man, it's still a minor league complex. It's not the same. There's a difference. I don't care how feel it. And the one thing about the Athletics, they have not embraced Sacramento.
Well, I think part of that is because they probably know that they're leaving, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to, it's like dating somebody that you know is going to leave you in half an hour.
Sheesh.
That's brutal. I mean, you know she's on the way out. Like, why put all your heart and soul into her?
Who dates, Alanna? You date?
Well, I'm married. No, I don't date. I'm just saying, like, it's hard to anyway. No, this one off the rails.
I've been married for so long, I don't even know what dating is anymore, Alanna.
Swipe right, AJ. Swipe right. Hot corner coming up. Well, this is crazy, guys. Yuli will be DFA'd, according to AJ Casavel, who covers the Padres, and Mason McCoy will head to the injured list as the corresponding moves. Mike Schilt said that McCoy dislocated his pinky finger in his left hand on Saturday night. So for the first month, it's felt like every day the Padres were adding someone new to the IL. Today brought a welcome change. For the first time this year, they activated a player from the IL. So Yuli is DFA'd, but they're getting a lot of reinforcements back. Erik, what do you make of the move?
I mean, this is where he's at. I'm not sure how many at-bats he had in AAA last year. Like, he's not afraid to try to latch on somewhere. So I guess it sounds inconsiderate of me, but it's all part. He wants to keep playing. You're not necessarily the number one guy on the totem pole anymore. Hey, you gotta go out there and you gotta grind it out, and DFA and going back down to the bushes, all that is in play for him. And that's the life he's living right now.
I mean, and that says a lot about a guy too. When you had a decent big league career. I mean, you've seen some of the heights of this game on the biggest level, and you're like, you know what? I love it enough. I'm not ready. Don't you guys always say that I'm not going to be done until they're going to have to like rip the jersey off of me? I mean, is that what we're thinking, AJ, with Yuli Gurriel, that perhaps, he can figure it out and get on with another big league club?
He loves baseball. He loves baseball, and he's not done with it. Listen, I was fortunate enough to play until I was like, I'm done. I got to a point where I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to grind through, a non-roster invite and then possibly get sent down a trip. I'm like, dude, I'm 40 years old. I've been doing this for a long time, but I was very fortunate. And there's guys that just love playing. You look up all the time and you're like, man, why is this guy still playing? But they just love baseball. They love playing. As long as your family's okay with it and they say, go play again, go play. If that's what you want to do, go play, and a team will have you. And listen, and like Kratz said, Gurriel's in a spot where you're not going to get a ton of at-bats. He was kind of a bench player, and if there's someone else that comes up, then you're usually the first guy to go, and it sucks to be in that situation. But if he loves playing, he wants to keep going, go for it, Yuli. You've had a great career. Maybe you can get hot again and help a team win another World Series.
Some guys are like, oh, why would he keep playing? He's played for – maybe there's milestones that he wants to get to. He has 2 more homers, is 100 homers. He's almost 41 years old. If his body feels good, keep playing. He's just short of 8 years. Maybe he's, the gold card is a big thing. In the big leagues, he's only played for just under 8 years. Like, he made his debut at 32. So he made his debut late. Somebody that made a debut late like me, I played till I was 40. I could have physically kept playing, but there's other things that, like AJ said, sometimes say, okay, you know what? It's time to go home. And family is one of them. Your health is another one. And if he has the backing of both of those, keep getting it. Get that 100th homer.
Yeah, everybody has their own time frame of when they say, you know what, I'm good. I've enjoyed this, but it's time to take it to the house. The Philadelphia Phillies guys did something yesterday that we have seen before, but we don't see it often. It was their first walk-off wild pitch, theirs anyway, since April 26th of 1993. The Nats took the lead in the top of the ninth after that wild pitch led to a run and then a 3-run homer. Don't give up any outs, AJ. This is what can happen.
Oh, what a bad sequence right there for the cat. I think it was Keibert Ruiz. Bad sequence. You see his disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
He missed the throw. I mean, Dylan Cruz had him dead out on a sac fly, and he missed the throw. It was a tough hop, but he missed it. He tried to tag him, and then the wild pitch. Just you saw the frustration, the disappointment when he put his head down after trying to get that. But great win for the Phillies. Bad loss for the Nats, especially after the 3-run homer to put them up and to give up 2 in the bottom of the ninth. It's one of those are like gut-wrenching losses for a team. I know that the Nationals aren't supposed to do anything, but those hurt, man. They hurt if you're a good or a bad team. Trust me. Those are the ones that stick with you for a while.
Yeah, Bohm single, Stott walked, Rojas sac fly for Bohm to score, bringing Stott to third, and then that wild pitch that we just saw by Kyle Finnegan and Keibert Ruiz not able to get the play down. I mean, this again is a gut punch, obviously. On the other side, though, Erik, you got to be feeling pretty good if you're the Phillies. You're like, all right, I mean, we're going to take the win any way that we can get it. And while it's a gut punch for the Nats, it's almost a boost for your Phils.
I mean, the Phillies got to figure out ways to win in different ways, especially when you're giving teams 4 or 5 outs in the late innings. I get it. Kirkland gave up the home run. I get it. That was a huge swing by Nathaniel, but like you can't, if you're Gold Glove in center field, you can't underrun a ball. Like the ball was rocketed, but he misplayed it. Trey Turner didn't make the play on a decently routine throw. You just can't. And late in the games, you cannot allow relievers to stay out there any extra outs because teams are going for broke. They're not trying to just manufacture runs. They're going for broke against those guys. And right now, that bullpen needs all the help it can get. Alvarado, oh my gosh, getting out of a bases loaded 3 straight strikeouts, getting out of bases loaded jam. It looked like the Phillies were just going to cruise after that, and then a little defensive miscues. So to win that is huge. And the demoralizing part for the Nats is they had their best guy out there. They had Finnegan out there, and it was like when you use your closer, some of your main relievers in a close game, you're like, we got to win this game. And when you don't win it, you're like, crap, those guys might not be up tomorrow, or they might be up tomorrow, maybe not the third game of the series. So you're always that's the demoralizing part for the Nats. But yeah, a win's a win's a win.
You guys talked about how the Nationals probably this isn't the year that they're expected to do much. You think Kyle Finnegan is a trade piece?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely is. I think everybody other than Wood and Cruz and maybe Keibert Ruiz and Abrams. There's like 4 of them. Other than that, I think everybody's possibly on the block because you got to keep getting better, keep improving. And Mike Rizzo knows that. Dave Martinez knows that.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk a little bit Yankees offense momentarily. Yanks hit 4 home runs in the first inning yesterday, guys. That's pretty good offense. I mean, this is a team that's adjusting in terms of rosters, adjusting in terms of injuries. They're an offense, though, not missing a beat, regardless of Juan Soto not being in it.
They're not. And there's guys that are still struggling. I mean, there's some low batting averages. There's some lower than career norm OPSs. Anytime you have the best hitter on the planet right now, I'm not saying he's the best hitter in the game, but he's making a strong case for it in Aaron Judge. It permeates the rest of the lineup in the sense of how do you pitch to these guys? Somebody that is taking advantage of it, or I should say 2 guys that are taking advantage of it. They were both hitting around Aaron Judge yesterday. Trent Grisham is off to a flaming hot start, and he has earned extra at-bats and earned that leadoff spot. And Ben Rice, I was talking to somebody with the Yankees organization. When it's time to send somebody down, it's definitely not going to be Ben Rice, but where do you play him? G comes back. It's like, okay, where do you play him? He's been catching. Thoughts in the organization are he will be able to catch. He will be able to catch at an above average level. His receiving, which is the super mondo value that they give catchers, is above average in the minor leagues. So Ben Rice, I'm not saying he's going to push Austin Wells out. I'm saying Ben Rice is going to be getting at bats. And when G comes back, when Giancarlo Stanton comes back, you can't be throwing him in DH and putting G out in the outfield or something like that. Those are G's spots. Ben Rice might start taking some ABs behind the dish too, because that stick is hot too.
Yeah, they'll find a place for him. With that bat, they're going to find a place for him. Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, Ben Rice all went deep, setting that tone in the 15-3 rout of the Orioles guys at Camden Yards. And, of course, Cody Bellinger also went deep for the New York Yankees. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Jayson Werth, former Philly, former Dodger, former big leaguer. And we're not talking baseball, though. We're talking horse racing. We'll be back right after this. All right, so we have Kratz's lock already today. AJ, what is your lock, my friend? Right now, this would be a plus 258 for you on this lock. What is it?
I'm going under 18.5 outs for Pablo Lopez. I know he just had 1 start. He went 7 innings, but I think the Guardians will pitch count him. They foul off a lot of pitches. And I think they'll be a little more cautious, not let him throw 100. So he'll go 6 innings or less. And then I'm going over 4.5 strikeouts for Shane Smith. If you haven't seen Shane Smith pitch for the White Sox, he's got a really good stuff. He was a Rule 5 pick. He has been their best pitcher so far in this year. So over 4.5 strikeouts against the Milwaukee Brewers, that gets me to plus 258. I'm putting 100 down, and I'm starting to get hot. I won yesterday, paid double, Look out, boys. I'm coming.
I love it.
All right. Pablo Lopez under 18.5 on the outs, and Smith over on the 4.5 strikeouts. I'm just taking the Phillies run line, guys, at -1.5. That means that the Phillies have to win today by at least 2 runs. I do believe the Fightins can do that. So that is my lock of the day. I lost the last time I was on here, so hopefully I can make up some ground there. But here's a yes or no run first inning boost token. Activate your token on your MLB bet and score a bigger payout if your bet wins. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, coming up, Jayson Werth live from the stables right after this. All right, we are joined now live by Jayson Werth, who is in the middle of the stables there, I believe, at Churchill Downs, because that's where he's going to be this upcoming weekend. Jayson, great to be with you. And we are going to talk a little baseball with you, but I want to talk about your horse first. This is cool. This is really cool for me to talk about. Now, is that Mohawk right there?
Yeah, that's my Mohawk. And he's being extra gentle and nice right now. Usually he's trying to bite me, so we're getting a side of but I don't get to see him. Maybe it's you guys.
Aw, beautiful.
I want to know how you come up with the names. Oh, you got a call. How do you come up with the names of these horses? Like Flying Mohawk?
Sorry, I got a phone call. What's up?
How do you come up with the names of these horses? That has to be, I know, like when you go hunting and people have leases, and Jim told me to talk about this all the time. The best part was coming up with the names of the deer, right? So how do you come up with names of a horse? Because horses don't have mohawks, really, do they?
It's the best. It's the best part of the sport, other than the horses and the people. Naming the horses big. So Mohawk's dad was Karakonti. Karakonti is a literally in the Mohawk language. It means like flying sun or something like that. So we named him Flying Mohawk. Why not? Right? I mean, it don't matter what you name him. If he wins, he'll be famous.
Yeah, it matters. A name matters. It makes you go faster. But did you get into this horse racing stuff? You said the people that you hang out with, so that you could feel like a minor leaguer. Because everywhere else you go, you're a big leaguer. But when you hang out with other people that have like big time real cheese, you're kind of like, you're kind of the minor. You're a AAA guy.
Yeah, no, we're small fries over here, and it's the sport of kings, right? So we're competing at the highest level. But just like in baseball, when you get drafted, it doesn't matter if you're a first rounder or a 50th rounder. Once you get on the field, no one cares what round you're drafted in or what where you're from. Like it's all equal. So the big dogs, they spend a lot of money. And guys like me, we're just clinging on for the experience, and we've been lucky 2 years in a row. I started a syndicate, Icon Racing. If you ever wanted to dip a toe into horse racing, we're kind of like crowdfunding, trying to compete with the big guys.
Jayson, I want to know what a race is like. You won the big race, one of the big races last year. Are you more nervous when the horse is in the gate and it's coming down the finish line, or were you more nervous when you played in baseball, like in the World Series or All-Star game? Which is more nerve-wracking?
I didn't get nervous playing sports, really. I mean, it's just kind of like what we do, right? I never had nerves or I never felt like I was going to throw up before a game, or it was just what we did. But for whatever reason, horse racing. I mean, I feel like I'm going to die before these races. I mean, the before the horses go in the gate for like an hour leading up to the race, you're losing your mind, man. I mean, it's like I've never been so nervous in my life. And then they get in the gate, and the gates open, and literally I feel like I'm back on the field again. I feel like I'm playing at the highest level. It's like when they come around the last turn, it's like it's almost like you hit a one of you're in the dugout, somebody hits a double in the gap with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth with in a big game. Like that's the type of emotions you feel when in these big races. I said winning the Belmont last year was the same feeling as winning the World Series. I mean, there's nothing like it. It is the best game, it's the most underrated game, and it is a great sport for retired athletes for sure.
Are you? Yeah, we got to see your horse right there. Seems docile. Do you even recognize your horse when it's about to get in the gate? Because I've seen a little bit of horse racing, and like these horses are juiced. They are ready. Like they know what they're gonna do. Is it like crazy to see how much of a change it makes?
Yeah, every horse is different, right? I'm over here at Whit Beckman's barn. You can see there's a ton of horses here. We got one running today, Haystack, and every horse is different. These 3-year-olds, these top 3-year-olds, they're the best horses in the world right now. And I mean, they have like big time characters. They have they have this charisma about them. They are they're rock stars. They're the best athletes in the world right now, and they know it, and they all know on game day that it's time to run. Like even a low level race, these horses get pumped up. But when there's a ton of people here, like we'll do the walkover on Saturday. One of the coolest things you can ever do in your life. Own a horse that runs in the Derby. You walk your horse over on the track, and it is like an outer body experience, man. These horses know what's going on. They get fired up. Some horses can take it, some can't. But you never know until them gates open what's going to happen.
Jayson, it is a beautiful event. I am fortunate enough to be going to the Derby. I leave tomorrow for it. And Ken Gurnick is going with me. And he wanted me to ask you, because he covered you, of course, he covered baseball for 40 years and he covered you as a Dodger. He wants me to ask you, number one, how you are the luckiest horse owner ever. And number two, wants to know if you can come and join us on Friday because you're going to be pretty busy on Saturday.
Yeah. I'd love to come visit you guys on Friday. It's the girls' race. Everybody's going to be wearing pink. We're down at the SI Club Friday, Saturday. I'm hosting on Saturday. I said yes to hosting before we knew Mohawk was going to be in the Derby. So kind of doing a little double duty on Saturday. But we got some stuff available to do Friday. Come see you. And yeah, I know Ken. We go way back. I knew he was in the. I don't know what I'm. I mean, honestly, I bought 10% of a horse named Dornick, first colt I ever bought. And he won the Belmont, ran 10th in the Derby. The next year, I bought 2 turf horses, Insubordination, who runs Saturday in a stakes race at Gulfstream, and Flying Mohawk, that runs in the Kentucky Derby Saturday. But they were both intended to run on the grass, and here we are on at Saturday in May. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, let me ask you a real question though. Who, baseball fans or Derby fans? Who are more intolerant? Who's harder to deal with?
Oh, baseball fans. I mean, that's what's great about horse racing is it's like this big event where there's no animosity, there's no real rivalries in the sport. You don't have to worry about getting knifed in the parking lot by a Mets fan. It's like everybody's cool. It's like the best party in the world. It's like everybody's happy. Even within the sport, all the owners, the people that are racing each other, trainers, it's one big community. It's one big happy family. It is an amazing sport. I'm excited you're going to be here for the Derby. I think the Derby is one of the coolest events there is. It's one of the most watched sporting events in the world. It's as big as it gets.
I mean, we could not come on a baseball show and ask about your quote about Mets, and you just kind of said it before. The quote you had about New York Mets: if you live in New York, you have a choice, an obvious choice. You can either be a fan or one of the story franchises or one of the greatest franchises in sports history, or the Mets. I have no respect for people who pick the Mets.
What? I mean, was I wrong?
Hey, you have whatever you want. You have any opinion you want, and it's built by Why is that? Why is that your opinion?
So there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on. One of the other owners is a big Mets fan, and look, like I've been saying jokes about about the Mets for a long time. I had to endure the NL East and listening to Mets fans for 10 years, and I say one little comment, and I'm kind of playing around, joking, like it's funny. It might be half truth or tongue in cheek or whatever, but I mean it's a little just a little, maybe a shot across the bow the other way after taking all their shit for 10 years. I mean, like, take a joke. I mean, I know that, they kind of are a joke, but I mean, take a joke.
Hey, speaking of taking jokes, the Phillies and the Nats played yesterday, okay? Who are you rooting for when the Phillies play the Nats? Are you rooting for the Phillies because you won a World Series there? Or are you rooting for the Nats because they paid you enough to have Flying Mohawk race in the Kentucky Derby?
Right. No, I love both franchises. Had great outcomes in both places. Obviously, winning a World Series in Philadelphia, I say, is the biggest achievement of my life. The parade would be 1A, horse racing reference, and then winning the Belmont is 2. So love Philadelphia. Washington Nationals, gave me a long-term contract, no trade clause, opportunity to rebuild a struggling franchise and have a lot of input into the organization. And ultimately, they won a World Series in 2019 because of all the stuff guys like me and Adam LaRoche and Ryan Zimmerman and Ian Desmond, all those guys that laid the groundwork for that franchise. So I don't care either way who wins. I don't pay attention. I didn't pay attention in April when I played. I mean, that's why I was only an All-Star one time. I sucked in the first half. I don't know who's watching these games in April, but I will pay attention as the year goes on. It's a long season. October baseball is the best. Obviously, playing as many postseasons as I did, I kind of come accustomed to really loving playoff baseball. I think it's the best thing going, but we're a long way from that.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing that people don't play well? I don't know if you can see it on your. I'm rocking my Jayson Werth J28 right there, the max bat, John.
Nice.
I mean, why not? When in Rome. Is that a thing though? Like, do they just suck at baseball in April, or is it a lack of focus and concentration, or you don't like the cold?
I don't know. I was such a slow starter every year, and it wasn't for lack of effort. My last year, actually, I went like on a crusade to because I was like 37, I think. In 2017, I was like just did everything different. Was like going to do everything I could to be a good player in April, and I had my hottest start probably of ever, and I foul ball off my foot in Oakland, break my foot after my hot start, and that was the end of my career. So there goes that idea. I probably should went with what worked.
Always go with what worked. Jason, I don't know if you remember this. We played against each other in Double-A. Okay, you were a
Double-A.
You were a catcher. How happy
Right.
are you that you didn't end up being a catcher? And you ended up being an outfielder, and you didn't have to squat and take foul balls and all the other stuff that comes along with being a catcher?
Yeah, well, AJ, I wasn't very good, so it wasn't that. I don't know if you remember or not. I mean, you played against me double. I didn't do anything well as a catcher. They moved me to the outfield. I started hitting, started running, and it was a whole lot easier. It was a way better game for me out in the outfield. And I tell you, you know what really sucks about catching is you're always wrong. You're never right. If the pitcher pitches great, it's because he's great. If he gives up hits and home runs, it's because you're an idiot. Like it's the most unforgiving job. I hated it. I hated the pitching coaches. I mean, it was not for me. They did me a solid by getting me out of there.
Yeah, from one World Series champ to another, from one catcher to kind of another catcher. Jason, before we let you go, what would you consider a success over the course of Oaks and the Derby this weekend? How do you walk away happy?
Well, I've got an online betting account that that I have to fund. If that thing's in the positive over the weekend, I'd say it's a success. But I mean, look, we're not. I'm not coming. We're not coming here just to run. I mean, this is a serious thing. I mean, Flying Mohawk is he got us in the Derby. Really cool story about the jockey Joey Ramos. He almost had a life-ending injury about 18 months ago. He's back on his feet, back riding again. He gets a ride with Flying Mohawk, and he runs a big race, runs second, and gets him into the Derby. So we're riding him back on Flying Mohawk. We never thought we'd be here, but that doesn't mean we're not going to win. So I think if you hit the board in the Kentucky Derby, you did something right. I'll be betting him in all my superfectas. So if he runs fourth, hopefully I'll hit my superfectas, and that'll pay out good, and I'll be happy. But the reality of this sport is it's incredibly dangerous. The jockeys and the horses, they put their lives on the line every race, and there's a lot of that aspect of this game that makes it like real. It's like it's heavy when you're in the paddock and the jockeys get on there, like they're running 40 miles an hour on the back of these things in close quarters, and it is dangerous, but it is amazing event and a sport. So I would say if everybody gets through this thing happy and healthy, it'll be a win.
Yeah, I have my
Hey,
Twin
Jayson.
Spires app ready, Jayson. It is ready.
Jayson, over your left shoulder, right shoulder.
Right
shoulder
shoulder.
is Jeff Berry. Ask him why, when you fouled that ball off your foot, he didn't change a rule so that you couldn't do that anymore like you did with Buster Posey.
He's been getting he wants me to say that you guys are idiots about the home plate rule, and it's better for the game. And I told him I didn't really care either way. I hated getting hit, but what I really don't like is the slide rule at second base. I prided myself at breaking up double plays, and now when I went down in 2017 to play in the minor leagues, to rehab. Oh no, that was 2018. My last year I played in Tacoma. I slid into second base to break up a double play, and you thought I would have shot this guy's dog. Like, these kids are so soft. Can't break up double plays anymore. I'm 40 years old, going into second base the only way I know how, and here's a 22-year-old kid crying because I hit him too hard. Get out of here. Give me a break.
Ask Jeff what the secrets are in San Francisco. Say, Jeff, what's the secret sauce in San Francisco? I know he's puppeteering some stuff there with Posey.
Let's bring Flying Mohawk's other owner in here.
Let's go, guys. No, I think the secret is we've got good players. No different than Mohawk running in the Derby. Players are the ones that determine it. And I think the tone is set by Buster Posey and leadership, not by math. I think it's by leadership and the humanity of the sport.
Yeah, fuck math. The Twirly Birds have tried to ruin the sport. We're not going to let them. We're not going to let them. We're not going to let.
All right.
All right, Jayson.
Good luck to Flying Mohawk. Now I have something to watch
I-
this weekend.
I don't know if I can cuss on your show or not, but I've got a podcast and we say whatever the fuck we want. You guys, I'll get you guys on there. It's Off the Rail Podcast. Me and Sean Kelly. Check it out.
All right, Jayson,
right.
we appreciate it. Good luck. We'll talk to you
See ya.
soon. All right,
Later.
Jayson Werth and Fly Mohawk. We'll be right back. Power rankings next.
If you want a razor that looks good, makes you look good, gets the shave done, and doesn't cost much,
Oh,
is it nice?
that's a hairy John, and you can smell it too. Smell it, John. Smell it.
Oh wow, what
After
is
See,
that?
shave?
that's Harry's. That's the shave gel.
Bro,
I'm telling you. Look, I mean, just
you look scary, man.
it's a shot.
Fresh.
Now come in. Get the,
I don't
look
want
how-
to
look how
touch this
soft
head
that is.
anymore. Oh my
Look how
god.
soft it
It
is.
That looks
doesn't-
like
it is
German
soft.
engineered blades made
It
in their
is
own
soft.
factory that stay sharp longer.
I'm using the razor, and it does not. You can start to feel when
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets dull. I mean, you guys only do like here and like up here.
true.
I'm doing acreage. Get the edge on your shave with Harry's. Normally their trial set is $10, but right now you can get it for just $6 at harrys.com/foul. That's our exclusive link, harrys.com/foul, for a $6 trial set. One of the things that I like to do is make sure we celebrate things on the show, things that need to be celebrated. Like AJ, I got nothing to celebrate with you, so it's not about you. Alanna, can I announce that you are going to be joining NESN as a general sports reporter?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, guys. No, it's not as big as it sounds. I appreciate it. I'm excited to join. They have a great team at NESN, and I'm excited just to be over there as a fill-in. I'm doing a alt cast with Jared Carabas, Boston Red Sox superfan, and Jonathan Papelbon. Perhaps you've heard of him. So it's me, Pap, and Carabas, and then I'll just be filling in a couple of times on sideline and hosting. So no big deal. But I do appreciate NESN for welcoming me to their team. Thank you.
Congrats, new homer. I'm so glad. So now we know it'll be Red Sox and Dodgers picks. So nice. Nice. And you're home. You're so close to home.
I know. I'm only 45 minutes from Fenway. Yeah. So one American League team, one National League team. There you have it.
What about the Rockies? That's 3 teams.
No, I don't know. No, I haven't been a fan of the Rockies in a very, very long time. I'm a fan of Colorado. I'm not a fan of the Rockies for obvious reasons. But the Nuggets and the Avs and the Broncos and the Buffs, yes, I am excited about all of those teams.
Should they have retired Shador's number? Should they have retired Shador's number? Should they have retired Shador's number?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Dion Figures is the number 2 that should have been retired. If there was going to be a number 2, that would have been Figures when we actually won the national championship back in 1990. Time now for power rankings. AJ, you are up. Who do you have in your top 10? Why are you laughing, Erik?
Because AJ hates power rankings, and he's gonna be like that second baseman that Jayson Werth was just talking about, soft as Charmin. I don't like the power rankings.
Nope. All right. So number 1 of my power rankings is the Rockies, and then the White Sox, and then the Marlins. Okay. Oh, wait, sorry. Okay, no, I actually kind of took these seriously. I did take them seriously. Okay, I'm going to go, because Alanna was on the show today. I want her not to cry. I took the Dodgers number 1 just because Alanna would cry if I didn't take the Dodgers.
They're not even my number 1.
Alanna, this is his time. Stop stepping on his moment.
Alanna. Yes. Number 2 are the Mets. Then I'm going Padres, Giants, Cubs, Phillies. Before we get to an American League team, which is the Yankees, then we have the Diamondbacks, the Tigers, and the Red Sox. After 1 month, that's where I stand. I don't care. Say what you want. It doesn't matter. It's too early. As Jayson Werth said, April baseball doesn't really matter.
Yes, the power rankings, by the way, powered by MLB 9 Innings 25. All right, Erik, your power rankings, sir?
I'm also a big Alanna fan, so I put the Dodgers. I don't think they've been playing the best this month. That also goes into why I have the Phillies at number 2, because I'm a homer. And I also think the team is built to win for the long term. And I put number 3, I'm going completely against that theory with the Padres, because the Padres have something going. From last season till now, they lost. They don't have Yu Darvish. They don't have Musgroves. And they're still pitching. Their bullpen is elite, and they're going to run into a lot of tough NL West opponents, tough series with the Rays at home, but that place launches them up to 3rd for me. I went to an American League team in the Yankees, and I couldn't not put the number 2 offense in baseball up at number 4. The Mets, they're moving up my power rankings, Mets fans. It's okay. I'm not hating on them. I just am afraid that it's just not quite enough for the long haul of the season to be the best team in the National League. But they are right now, so they earned that number 5 spot. The Tigers are doing some things. I know I lost a bet with them last night, but that's okay. And the Mariners, is this the year that the Kevin Seitzer-led offense is going to make the change enough to put this rotation into the playoffs? Even though some of the rotation is a little bit decimated, they're going to be fresh coming into the playoffs. And the Cubs have played the toughest RPI, strength of schedule, in all of baseball. No teams under 500 that they have played, and they are leading the NL Central. I don't know if they win the NL Central. That's not a lock for me yet. But the Red Sox, all their trades, the trade of Crochet, the youth movement that Chaim Bloom made a thing in this organization is now happening. And the Alex Bregman stuff is, just dingers to left, and he hasn't even really gotten that hot in Fenway yet. And the Giants. I think the Giants might have the most staying power because their pitching and defense has really stepped up.
Why did you put the Phillies so far down on your list? Weren't they 1 last week? Now they're 2?
They've never been 1. It's always been Dodgers and Phillies. And I think power rankings are really what's going to happen total. Who's the toughest looking team? And I think this team is played together. I think there's something about having a lineup that's played together and consistently day in and day out, besides like Marsh and Rojas and Kepler getting moved in there. They just know each other. They know how they need to feed off each other. And I think they'll be able to make adjustments. And the starting rotation is pretty sick.
I actually should have asked AJ. It was AJ that had the Phillies pretty far down on his list this week versus last time. AJ, why do you have Phillies so far down?
I'm worried about their bullpen. And this is where we're at in the season right now, and I think the Phillies aren't playing great. And I don't know how in the world Erik Kratz says the Mets fit. They have the best record in baseball by far. It's not even close. They're playing unbelievable right now. I don't know how you put the Mets down at 5th just because you're a homer for the Phillies and the Yankees and the 17 other teams you played for. But, the Mets at 5th, you got to be crazy.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing I didn't know we were doing standings. Here,
You didn't know we were doing power rankings after April?
We're not.
So we're doing hot. We're doing who's hot. Here, hang on. I'll send it to Claude, and she can redo my board so that it looks like who's hot and who's not.
All right. So while you send that to Claudia Olson, here's my top as far as power rankings are concerned, powered by MLB9 Innings 25. I have the Mets as number 1. And yes, partly because of record, 19-9, but we're not doing it based on record. Their rotation, a league best 2.29 ERA, everybody, and the return of Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez has bolstered their lineup a bit. The Dodgers, yes, I get it. I'm a homer, but it is what it is. Despite the injuries to key pitchers, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Decoy is one of my favorite animals on the planet, although I wish he was a rescue pup. That's for another show. They're 18-10. Their depth continues to keep them afloat. They're still competitive. The Cubs, another National League team, of course. Potent offense, solid rotation. The Cubs have impressed early in the season. Their bullpen ERA, I'm with AJ, is problematic, 5.17, but they're still number 3 for me. The Giants, Jeff Berry, Buster Posey, the whole thing. They've had a strong week. They took series from the Brew Crew. They took series from Texas. They lead the major leagues in walk-off wins, which is neither here nor there. They could probably use a few laughers in there instead of having to do it in walk-off fashion. The Padres. I think the Padres are my number 5 team. They started season incredibly hot, as we know, but they've had some injuries. Jake Cronenworth obviously is hurt. Luis Ariz with that concussion. That was scary, but their depth, it's going to be tested in the coming weeks. But Padres are in my top 5. The Tigers, that's my first American League team. They are at number 6. A little bit of a surprise contender, if you will. Leading the majors in several offensive categories, that would be the Yankees at number 7. The Rangers, despite struggles at their DH spot, gentlemen, they've managed to stay competitive. There's speculation about signing JD Martinez. Will they do that? Will it help? I don't know. The Phillies at number 9. Love them. I would run through a wall for them. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, the Phillies, my biggest concern, obviously, is bullpen. We've discussed that. Romano, not the answer, as you might understand, with his 13.5 ERA. And then the D-backs. There you have it. That's my top 10. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if it looks good. I don't even know if this made any sense. Those are mine.
The sense part, I can't help you with. I can't help you with the sense part. None of them make any sense.
First one.
I thought you crushed it. No, I thought you crushed it. I just don't know how you don't. The Mariners over the Rangers, even though the Mariners are ahead of them and playing better I don't know.
Mariners weren't even on my list.
Oh,
why not?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't know why you have the Rangers over the Mariners. That's kind of my point.
I don't know. I just like Bruce Bochy, I guess.
Oh my gosh, you're such a sucker.
I like their uniforms.
I like their uniforms. Yeah, well, it's fine. All right. Anyway,
Everyone
whatever.
loves
Scott's
Boch,
coming.
Alana. Everybody loves Bochy.
He's lovable.
That's like
him and that
that's
big
low
old
hanging.
noggin. He's lovable.
That's low hanging fruit.
Yeah, okay. Well, get MLB 9 innings 25 of baseball game in the palm of your hand. The game includes updated 2025 team logos, uniforms. We were just talking about the unis, and stadiums. Play alongside MLB icons like Derek Jeter, number 2, Joe DiMaggio, Adrian Beltre, Kirby Puckett, and Satchel Paige. Scan the QR code and download the game today. All right, when we come back, talking Kiké, Hernández, and some craziness. We'll be right back.
I'll take it easy on you guys. Whatever.
Hey, Mike, you might want to back up.
Nah, bro, I'm good right here. Yeah, you got no chance of getting it out of the infield anyway.
Last time you gave me something to hit, I took you deep. Come on in here.
What was that? That's not fair. I wasn't even ready.
Save it, Junior. That's terrible.
Hey, Mad Dog, give me something to hit.
FT fam, we're excited to introduce you to Rowback with the subtle dog logo and those 2 stripes on the back of every product. Kratz, what are you rocking for us today?
I got the polo, so when I'm out on the course, I stay cool. The sweat's wicking away. You barely even feel like it's on.
Yeah, polos are there as well. Use the code FOUL at rowback.com for 20% off your first purchase. That's FOUL on RHOBACK.com.
This is pretty crazy, guys. I don't know if you saw the game yesterday, but Kiké Hernández of the Dodgers, the only major league player in the modern era to score multiple runs, play multiple positions, and have a scoreless outing on the mound, all in a game in which he did not start. This via Opta Stats. It was pretty crazy. Interesting, though, this came in a laugher, a win for the Dodgers, 11-2, and Kiké ended up, I think they won 15-2, and Kiké ended up pitching in this game with some very interesting headgear. But there you have it. You never know what you're going to see in a baseball game, AJ.
That's great. The best part was he's the first person I've seen wear the headgear. He got weak contact, a scoreless inning, came in. I don't know what you call that headgear, but I know it has a name for it, and it's supposed to protect pitchers' heads, but he's the first one to wear it.
This in spring training. He started wearing this nonsense in spring training. Like he was doing PFPs with this nonsense on his head.
At least he has fun. We want players to have fun. He's having fun. And I know, listen, getting hit in the head is serious, but I don't know. It's the first one I've seen wear it, and it just looks like a helmet, but smaller.
He definitely was looking around the equipment. He was looking around the equipment shed and said, I want this, I need it, and I'm going to use it once I get out there pitching this year. And he did it.
The first time Kiké has pitched at home, too, by the way. He has pitched before. The only position Kiké has not done is the U2. He has not caught, but he has pitched several times before, all on the road. This time, though, a position player pitching at home in a win, 15-2 over the Fish, Los Angeles Dodgers. Your team and mine. So there you have it. So, okay, good for them. Opportunity for, I think, the sweep today, right? Today is Wednesday, correct? I think they can go for that. Actually, they're playing in like half an hour. We can watch that here shortly. As soon as we're done with Foul Territory, you guys can watch the mighty Dodgers. Coming up, Mitch Bannon is going to be talking about the Toronto Blue Jays right after the break, right here on FT. And Mitch Bannon is with us now. Mitch, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us here on Foul Territory. Alanna Rizzo, AJ Pierzynski, Erik Kratz with you here. You, of course, can be read at The Athletic. You just released an article this morning when you said the Blue Jays rotation has no room for bad days. Mitch, explain yourself.
Yeah, it's not really about the rotation. It's been kind of the strong part of the team. It's been the bright spot. The top 4, especially the big dogs, have been logging innings for this team, giving them quality starts, but the offense is giving them basically no room for error. And we've finally seen the rotation kind of slip the last few days, and that's resulted in 3 more losses. So if the offense isn't putting up more than 4, which they haven't done in weeks, it's hard to win a lot of baseball games.
How much of this, though, is part of the offense is you have 8 guys playing defense for those pitchers. They built this team for that defense, and I get it. The pitching, has been really good, but it can't be that good without, because they're not striking out the world without that defense. So does the defense kind of help prop that up, especially now that Varsho's back? That could be a huge, huge exclamation point for this defense with Gold in center.
Yeah, for sure. I think the defense definitely helps the pitchers get their ERAs down. We've seen that kind of be the story of this team for the last 3 years. But also the story has been they've been a really good pitching team, a really good defensive team, and they still haven't really made a lot of noise because the offense has let them down. They gotta find the balance. It's hard to do that in the middle of the season. I think the Blue Jays thought bringing in Anthony Santander was going to help that. He's a big back guy who's not really built for defense. He hasn't really gotten going, so they got to find the balance to win games. And I think right now they're a little too pitching and defense centric.
We talk about parks all the time. And Rogers Center, when I played there, when AJ played there, was kind of a joke. But they also had Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Brett Lowry, Adam Lynn. Like there was some bangers that were Troy Tulowitzki that were going through that team. Now that they made those renovations, do you hear rumblings around that the players are like, ooh, I don't know what the renovations did, but the ball doesn't travel as far. And when you play in the same place 81 times, is that getting under the Blue Jays players' skin? Because it's been more than just like a few months or a year.
Yeah, you definitely hear that. I think when they made the renovations, the front office and all the people involved in that were pretty confident it was going to play as a lot closer to a neutral park. And it's hard to tell exactly how much it's been the product the Blue Jays have put on the field, but it hasn't quite played as a neutral park. Other teams are hitting home runs. The Blue Jays aren't. It's kind of a question. It hasn't necessarily been a long enough time since the renovations, in my mind, to really know if it's the Blue Jays struggling offense kind of dragging down the park factor numbers, or if it is just an overall weird thing with like the batter's eye. It could be like the dome. Like a lot of factors go into park factors, and I just don't know what the cause of this is yet. But it's definitely not playing how they initially thought it would.
Let's talk about the defense there a little bit, Mitch. I have seen circus catches before, but there's always some time when you go to a baseball field and you see something you've never seen before. I mean, Dalton Varsho, my word, that had to have been one of the most unbelievable catches I have ever seen. Where does it rank for you?
Yeah, it's really high up there. The only other one that comes to mind was a couple of years ago, Kevin Kiermaier run into that same kind of cutout on the renovated wall on opening day, scaled it, brought a ball back into the park. That's the only one I think that really kind of is up there for me. But Varsho, first game back, he falls down. He said in his words, he thought of profanity, and then he located the ball, and it's like, I don't know how he made that catch. It was truly incredible, and it speaks to how incredible it was, because when a team hits 5 home runs like the Red Sox did in a couple innings last night, and we're talking about a crazy catch, it's got to be a pretty big play.
Hey, let me ask you, you just mentioned home runs. Vlad hit his 3rd home run last night. Bo Bichette has the same amount of home runs this year that I have, 0. What the heck is going on with Bo Bichette, and how much is this hurting him to get a contract extension like Vlad, and then he's also a free agent? Is there pressure on Bo to get going?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the thing with Vlad and Bo is all of their numbers compared to last year kind of look the same, except the power is way down. Like they're putting up pretty similar batting averages. They're walking at pretty similar clips. Obviously, Bo is coming off the weird year last year where he was very injured. He looks mostly back, except for the power. It's just not there. He had a hand injury and a calf injury. Those aren't necessarily injuries I think this far out would impact the power. And so it's really kind of unexplainable why especially those two are not hitting for power. If you want the positive spin, a lot of these guys in the Blue Jays offense are objectively struggling, and the numbers under the hood kind of are struggling too. Bo and Vlad, their expected power stats are a lot closer to where they actually usually sit in their career. So I think the Blue Jays can have some faith that those guys will rebound. I think the question is if it's going to be in time before they slide into a hole and get close to the deadline for those to get back to where they should be.
And it's certainly not just all Bo, obviously. Anthony Santander, who you alluded to a little bit earlier, Mitch, he's had one hit in his last 26 at-bats. He's hitting 174, 260, 294 as far as the slash line, with 3 home runs in 28 games this season. His 554 OPS is 7th worst among AL qualifiers. Are you noticing something in particular in his offensive approach? Have there been conversations, or what needs to change here?
Yeah, they're trying things for sure, because he's the guy they brought in to bring the power. Like, not much else changed with this lineup except for Santander. He was kind of supposed to be a solution to a lot of the problems they had last year. He is a historically slow starter. I feel like everyone's talked about that for the last month. The slow start has continued. They thought he was going to heat up, and then he went on that slide that you just mentioned there. Teams are pitching him inside a lot, and he's struggling to either lay off of those or to get out in front of those. That's definitely a problem. The one thing the Jays are trying right now is taking him out of the DH spot and putting him in the field. I mentioned he's not necessarily a guy known for his defense, but they're just trying things to get him engaged in the game, to get him kind of feeling more like himself. Because if this offense is going to go anywhere, they need him hitting a lot closer to 40 home runs than he is right now.
I'm just shocked that they're so low in the home runs. They're second to last in home runs for Major League. That's crazy. It's craziness to me, because like Kratz said, I go to Toronto and it's like there's a launching pad. I don't know what they changed. I don't know what Rogers did when they changed those walls. When they changed the color of the walls, I don't know, but they brought the fences in and the ball stopped traveling. So maybe go back to the old way, Toronto. The pitching staff, though, to me, the starters have been okay. I mean, Barrios, Gosman had the awesome ejection and fell down the steps the other day, which is not funny, but it's kind of funny because he's okay. You know, Alvin Francis has been good for these guys. The bullpen hasn't been great. Is there hope that the pitching staff, the starters can keep it up and the bullpen can get to where they can help them win some games?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to ask them to do more than they're doing right now. Like, the weird part about this pitching staff is, the big 4 starters have been good. Obviously, Max Scherzer is hurt. You're hoping to get him back like in the next month or two, ideally. And then you got your 5 guys. The bullpen, they just got to be in situations to lock down games, and they just haven't been. The bright spot for this pitching has been Jeff Hoffman, Jimmy Garcia, and Brendan Little have been electric out of the back of the pen. But you can't really showcase that if you don't have late game leads. So I think if the offense comes around even a little bit, even if they're scoring 4 or 5 runs a game, the pitching staff with the big starters we mentioned and the back of the bullpen can get it done. It's just hard to do that when you have to throw mop-up guys and guys you're not super confident with out of the back, the front of the bullpen there.
Mitch, it looks like you guys are going, or the Blue Jays rather, are going with a bullpen game today. The 5th spot in that Toronto starting rotation is a bit of a question mark. Max Scherzer obviously not coming back until probably late May. What's the long-term fix for that, and what's the short-term answer?
Yeah, the short-term answer is figure it out. The long-term, I think, is Max Scherzer getting healthy. But in the short-term, it's going to be patchwork. They're going to call up Erik Lauer, it certainly sounds like today, for some bulk. Easton Lucas had 2 really good starts and then 2 really bad starts. He can come back in a week if he's figured some stuff out in AAA. Jake Bloss, top prospect for this team, a guy they got back in the Yusei Kikuchi deal. Had a couple slow starts in AAA, looked great in his most recent outing. There's some options there. None of them are super obvious or super sexy, but they're going to have to figure this out for the rest of May, probably a little bit of June, and they do not want to go to a 4-man rotation. Like Barrios, Gosman, Bassett, those are guys this team has leaned on so much the last couple of years. They're all well over 30. They're not the type of guys you want to be skipping starts and making pitch on short or normal rest consistently through a season, especially if you want them ready for October.
Mitch, the Leafs are playing. Oh, go ahead, Alanna.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask you, in Mitch's opinion, how hot Schneider's seat is, if it is at all.
Yeah, I think it's hot, but it's kind of hard to tell what this organization is going to do this year if things go south. Like, there's a lot of seats that are hot. There's a lot of contracts that are expiring. And this is a team that they've invested a lot of money in. They just gave Vlad $500 million. It's not a team that's going to sit around and just wait for things to go better. Santander is a veteran who just got a lot of money. This team expected to win this year. They haven't the last 2 years. It's kind of like a 3 strikes and you're out situation, but I'm not sure we're quite there in April. I think a lot of people still have faith it'll turn, but if it doesn't, like the questions are asked.
Mitch, you can say it. Atkins and Shapiro, they have to be right. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
it's their last year, right? They have to feel some of the heat from the ownership, the Rogers Corporation, at some point. So I would think it's fair to say. It's fair to say. But speaking of hot seats and everything going on in Canada, because your accent is killer. But the Blue Jays are one thing in Toronto, but the Maple Leafs are a whole different level. Now they had a 3-0 lead. It's 3-2. Are we getting nervous in Toronto that the Maple Leafs could blow a 3-0 lead against Ottawa?
The Maple Leafs blow a lead in the playoffs? No, those things don't happen. That never happens in Toronto. Here's the thing. You can't be nervous if you have my approach to the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is expect disaster and everything else that happens is just bonus. And so I came into this series, like they're playing the Ottawa Senators, a team they're objectively better than, a crosstown rival in Ontario. I just knew that this was going to head for disaster. Hey, if they pull it out, great. But they've put themselves in a position for everything to go about as bad as it could.
That's the spirit, Mitch.
That is like the most, you know that sounds like? That sounds like the Boston Red Sox fans for so many years, right? Before they finally won in 2004, it was like, oh, well, we could be up 3-0, a 10-run lead in the bottom of the ninth, and we're going to blow it somehow, right? So that is
well, if
like
they keep proving you're right, then you got to listen.
Yeah, and the Cubs franchise for all of those years as well. It's the tide's going to turn, Mitch. The tide is going to turn. Thanks so much. He's like, no, it's not. It's just absolutely not. Well, thank you for the insight on the Blue Jays. We look forward to seeing what this club does over the next couple of weeks. We appreciate you taking the time.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, Mitch. We appreciate, of course, covering the Blue Jays. We will be right back with Better Than Box Scores next.
For the card collectors out there, you got to check out Arena Club. I've got a showroom, AJ's got a showroom, and it's become a place where you can basically do everything digitally and physically in the hobby.
Absolutely. You can get cards. They'll grade them for you. They come in the plastic if you want to physically get them so they don't show up like this card that's all bent that Scott, for some reason, decided instead they show up nice, like the exact same card. Look how perfect this one is. That's how Arena Club sends them to you. They'll even encase them for you so they don't get messed up in transit. So Arena Club's your one-stop shop for any baseball card, football card, any card needs that you might have.
And you should check out Slab Packs. You can rip a pack for hundreds of dollars or less and hit on a card that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. I'll take those odds. Right now, you can get 20% off your first Slab Pack or your first card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul. That's code FOUL once you get there, arenaclub.com/FOUL, code FOUL.
All right, guys, time for Bobby Witt. By the way, this guy is pretty special. His hit streak reaches 20 games, AJ. This is a kid that you said you would build a franchise around, and he's proven you right.
By the way, nice Curb Your Enthusiasm reference there. Alanna. Second one of the day. Yeah, this kid's good. He's really good. I wish someone else on the team would hit with him, though, to give him a little bit of help. But 20 games in a row is impressive. The Royals are kind of getting it going a little bit. They're hovering around 500 in a nice chance, but they need someone else to hit behind him. But absolutely, would I start a franchise if I had to make a pick right now? Shortstop, speed, power, all the things you look for. Great in the community. Loves being in, and he signed to a long-term deal. Yep, sign me up for Bobby Witt fan club.
Yeah, he is an all-around good player. He's an all-around good human. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Scotty Pacino, who is Bobby Witt Jr.'s agent with Octagon. Unfortunately, Scotty passed away a couple of days ago after his battle with cancer. He's a good friend of ours. So our thoughts and prayers are with his wife, Meg, their two boys. Scotty Pacino has been an agent for 40 years, the last 15 with Octagon. He was at Bobby Witt Jr.'s wedding, a huge part of their family. He negotiated the largest contract ever for the Seattle Mariners and Felix Hernandez. So our thoughts and prayers are with Meg and the boys, and we appreciate everything that Scotty did for this great game of ours. When we come back, we're talking about better than box scores. Tony Gonsolin makes his return to the big league mound for the Dodgers. We'll be back. All right, AJ, you know better than anybody when you are behind the dish and you're catching a guy that's coming off of the injured list. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. The Dodgers activating right-hander Tony Gonsolin from the IL. They optioned right-handed pitcher Matt Sauer, who had a really good outing his last time out, eating up some innings for the Dodgers. When you're behind the plate and you have a guy that's coming off of an injury, in this case, it was a weightlifting accident right before the season started. What are you looking for in terms of stuff and complexion?
Health. That's it. I'm looking for him to be healthy and show me some stuff. Show me spurts of good stuff that I saw before you were injured. Whether it's Will Smith or Austin Barnes catching, it's just show me good stuff. Show me a little bit. Just give me a sneak peek, Alanna, that you have a good slider, that you have a good split, that you have your fastball, because you know it's not going to be good your first time out there. It's not going to be great, more than likely, but just show me enough small snippets so I can go to the pitching coach, Mark Pryor and Dave Roberts, and say, oh, we had a couple good fastballs, or he threw a couple good splits, or he threw whatever it was. Just show me enough to where I can go to the coaches and say, he's got something. We can build on that.
And honestly, the Dodgers right now, AJ, they have only 4 healthy starting pitchers, and that includes Gonsolin, who's coming back today for the first time in the season. How do you not put too much pressure on that right arm, because you know that you're down a guy, and 2 of the guys that are healthy pitch once a week?
How do you not put too much pressure on them? You're the Dodgers. You say, give us 4 innings and we go to the bullpen every game. They do that in the World Series. They could have a guy out there throwing a no-hitter, Alanna. You know this better than anybody. They could have Tyler Glasnow out there in the World Series throwing a no-hitter in the 4th, and they're like, yep, second time through. Sorry, we're going to bring in our bullpen to try to close this thing out. So there's no pressure on you if you're a Dodger starter, because even if you're doing unbelievable, they're still probably going to be like, yep, you've third time through. Let's go to the bullpen and get up better matchups. But no, Gonsolin should be fine. He's been around long enough. He's been through enough. He's been through a bunch of injuries. He knows what it's like to come back. And if you're a Dodgers fans, they're going to make the postseason. Everyone take a deep breath. That's why I have them number 1 in my power rankings.
All right. That's why they're number 2 on mine. Lance McCullers Jr. will start for the Astros, AJ Pierzynski, on Sunday against your White Sox. It's his first start since 2002 in the World Series. You looking for the same, just health?
No, this is a bigger story to me than, no offense to Tony Gonsolin, but this is a bigger story to me. Why is this a bigger story for me? Because I believe that Lance McCullers is an important piece for the Astros if they want to get back to the postseason and win the division like they have for a bunch of years in a row now. He needs to be healthy, and plus he hasn't pitched in 3 years almost. Like, this is a huge deal. I know we talked to him last spring training and how he was just itching to get back out there. So I'm proud of him for sticking with it, getting back out there, and I hope it goes really well. And I hope Lance McCullers can have a great career and end his career healthy, because this guy's been through a lot. We mentioned Gonsolin. Lance McCullers has been through a lot. The highs, the lows, everything in between. But this guy deserves to get healthy and get back out on a big league mound. So to me, this is a big story.
No question about it. I mean, he's a much bigger cog to that rotation for the Astros than Gonsolin is as a cog to the Dodgers. 31 years old, a 49-32 record with a 3.48 ERA, AJ, in 130 games. That's 127 starts. So he has seen it. Now, this is a guy that has had 4 rehab outings. His last outing on Saturday, he had his longest start, going 7 innings, and he fanned 5. What would that tell you if you were behind the dish catching that?
He's throwing strikes. To get the strikeouts, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the 7 innings is what's important, because that means he was throwing the ball over the plate, right? That's what you want to see. Can he throw it over the plate? Can he get guys out with his stuff? He proved it. McCullers did in the minor leagues. Now he gets to face the White Sox. Can he do it against the White Sox? A big league team. But he threw it over the plate, because the important thing is 7 innings. That means he was up and down 7 different times. Warm, cold, up downs. We call them up downs, right? He had 7 up downs. That's a huge thing because that means he's feeling good. He's healthy because if there was any little snag, they would have shut him down. But to see 7 innings, huge for the Astros.
How much does McCullers return if he is healthy and legitimately can take the ball every 5 days? How much of a boost is that to a starting rotation of the Astros that is not nearly as deep and not nearly as formidable as they have been in the last decade and change?
Well, listen, if Hunter Brown keeps pitching the way he's pitching, and then you have Fromber, who we all know how good Fromber can be when he's right, and then you throw in Blanco, who threw the no-hitter last year, and then you put Lance McCullers in the middle of that with whoever the 5th guy is, whoever the other person is in that rotation, you're getting better. You're getting to a point where that could be a playoff rotation. Now, you need Lance McCullers Jr. to be healthy and be able to pitch every 5th day. And if he's able to, I mean, you go into a playoff series with Brown, Valdez, McCullers, Blanco, whoever else you throw in there, that's a pretty good start. With their back end with Hader and Abreu, that's a dangerous pitching staff to go into a postseason with.
If they had stronger
Eric
pitching,
Eddie?
let's say McCullers was healthy or he is healthy moving forward, with stronger pitching, would they have made your power rankings this week?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
So they're not quite there yet.
I'm not quite there yet because I think there's American League teams that are better than them, and I think the National League. Many National League teams before you get to an American League team, and the Astros are second or behind their 3rd place, I think. So yeah, but it would help. Definitely would help because their record would get better, and I'm a record guy. I'm a wins losses guy, Alanna. I'm not like you.
Yeah.
I bet with my head, not with my heart.
Okay, moving on. White Sox, whatever. All right, Baseball Reference, their current odds to win the 2025 World Series based on their simple rating system. AJ, now the simple rating system in Baseball Reference is a rating that takes into account a team's average margin of victory, so runs scored versus runs allowed, and its strength of schedule. Right now, the Cubs lead the league at 15.9%. Are you buying this?
No.
I'm not either.
I just said I bet with my head, not with my heart, Alanna. And you think I'm going to ever buy the Cubs to win anything?
No. Oh, sure. Oh, that's your head, not your heart. Yeah, that makes
totally.
That
Didn't you listen to
total,
Mitch Bannon when a team disappoints you for so many years? You just start expecting him to disappoint you. I just can't believe that the Dodgers and the Mets. I mean, the Tigers too. Okay, but the Dodgers are 9th.
How did the Dodgers have a 5.3% chance of winning the World Series? How are the Phillies at 0.6? I don't understand this. Again, runs scored versus runs allowed and strength of schedule, but I'm not buying this. I mean, the teams with less than 0% or less than 0.1%, I will buy this. The Angels. I'm sorry, but the Rangers have a much better chance than 0.1% to win the World Series. The White Sox, all right, I'll take that. Baltimore, that's a little low for them. I don't know that they're going to make the postseason, but come on. Colorado, buy that. Pittsburgh, I don't buy it. St. Louis, I don't buy it. Washington, I don't buy it. Miami, I buy it. The Athletics, I buy it. And the Twins, I don't buy it. Less than 0.1%? That seems a little too low.
The Rockies are ahead of the Orioles? The Rockies are ahead of anybody right now. Come on.
They shouldn't be ahead of
I know
anybody.
the Rangers are 29th. Here's my thing. The Red Sox, 0.5%. I think they have a better chance because if they get in with Crochet, Bueller, some of their guys, and Devers gets hot, and Bregman gets hot, I don't know. I mean, listen, Baseball Reference is great and all that. But, I mean, come on. Like, this is – I don't know how they did this thing, but the fact that the Rockies aren't 30th on this list – makes this list.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
That's all I need to see.
I know the fact that the Rockies are 25th on anything out of 30 clubs right now. I'm not. And I love Baseball Reference. I go to it 1,000 times a day, but this one's a little suspect. This one's a little suspect. All right. Well, we come back here, Foul Territory. We're wrapping some things up. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves, who apparently 5% chance of winning the World Series, according to Baseball Reference. We'll be right back. Evan Grant does a great job covering the Texas Rangers for the Dallas Morning News. He's also, I think, the '1 reporter that we've had here on Foul Territory as far as appearances are concerned. Carter Watch. Evan Carter was 2 for 4 last night, has a 1.027 OPS, so on base plus slugging. In his last 10 games, he's reached safely in all 17 games he has played this season. So that's good. I think the Rangers are better than we're giving them credit for. I have a tremendous amount of belief in that team.
Yeah, and if Evan Carter comes back, does their chance of winning the World Series go up from 0.1% to higher? I mean, this is a big piece. So. A couple years ago when they won, remember everyone was talking about this guy's going to be a superstar. He was hurt last year. This is exactly what the Rangers wanted to see when they sent him down to AAA was they want to see him go down there, get some confidence, stay healthy, and then call him back up, and hopefully he helps their outfield offensively and defensively because he was great when he was up a couple years ago.
And I would imagine a team that has Jacob deGrom, the healthy Jacob deGrom, the guy that has unbelievable stuff. 6 innings yesterday with 7 Ks. I mean, you've got to have a higher chance than 0.1% to win the World Series with a guy like that on your staff.
And big game Nate. Don't forget Eovaldi.
I love Eovaldi, yes.
All right. I mean, and Bruce Bochy knows how to use a bullpen, knows how to get bullpen in the right spot. So 0.1% to me is just crazy, crazy low. But Langford's been great. They're going to get Seager back. Simeon's going to get going. This team has the pieces. Can they just stay healthy and get it going? Because they're higher than 0.1% for me.
Apparently, everybody was required, AJ, to be on the field yesterday for outdoor batting practice. None of this under the tunnel batting practice stuff. What does that say to you with a mandatory BP?
I took BP on the field every day. I played with the guy. The first guy I ever saw do this was Nick Markakis, not take BP. I loved going out there when I was playing, especially now I complained a little bit when I wasn't playing because I was old and crotchety. But I liked hitting on the field. I don't know. I liked it. Got a sweat going. It got me used to the conditions. I climatized. I don't know.
Right, but this was mandatory for them, though. This was mandatory, so everybody had to be out there.
Alanna,
I know. I'm just saying. What is that? I get it, but it's not that way anymore.
Bochy's trying to change it up and saying, get your butts out there and let's try to get ready for a game because we ain't been hitting. So he's trying to do something different. He's going back to the old school ways, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. We survived. I don't know how, but man, we survived.
Isn't it amazing? We walked uphill both ways with no shoes in the snow and drink water out of a hose. We'll be right back. Time now to slap hands. AJ, Pierzynski, Alanna, Rizzo here as we close out the show. We talked about the Atlanta Braves. They started 0-7, AJ, in disastrous fashion. We were running them, sending them to the moon. Since that start, Atlanta leads the National League in WRC Plus with 121 homers, slug percentage, WOBA, while averaging 4.95 runs per game, whatever the hell WOBA is. Non-coincidentally, the Braves are 13-8 over that span, which is a 100-win pace. So they went from 0-7 to potentially, probably not going to happen, but to potentially winning 100 games. This is why I never count out Alex Anthopoulos and Brian Snitker. I just don't.
Here's what I love. Oh, they're 13-8 and they're on pace to win 100. What about the 0-7 start? You can't just erase that. They're 13-15. I'm a Braves guy. I finished my career with the Braves. Snitker was my last manager I played for. I grew up a Braves fan. They've got a great chance still to make the playoffs because of the extra wild cards, okay? But let's not get crazy and say they're going to win 100 games. If they win 100 games, Alanna, you're going to have to switch your allegiance from the Dodgers to the Braves because it would be that crazy.
No chance.
Okay?
That's not happening.
But I mean, I love this. Every team goes through ups and downs. We've talked about this. They're hot right now. They've also, who have they played and where have they played? Where are they playing right now?
I don't know. I don't.
Colorado!
Oh,
Colorado.
God.
Yeah, they're
That's
playing
terrible.
Colorado.
Well, so they got a shot, is what you're saying. So you're saying there's a chance. Speaking of Colorado, how about the Coors Field horror stories? 30 years of baseball at altitude, but I refuse to blame the altitude. This is ownership, and this is not putting together a good team on the field. But 30 years ago, AJ, the New York Mets and Colorado Rockies opened Coors Field on April 26, 1995 in a game that would embody the beauty if you are a hitter, and the absurdity if you're a pitcher of the ballpark when they combine for 20 runs and 33 hits in an 11-9 14-inning Colorado win.
I love playing in Colorado. And I think what was it Walker Buehler at the bottom said, it's not the home runs you give up, it's the bloopers. And you have to make a choice. Bring your outfielders in to take away the bloopers and let the balls go over your head, or move your outfield back and take away the extra base hits. I always prefer to bring the outfielders in, take away the bloops, because then those solo homers don't turn into 2- and 3-run homers. It is an amazing stadium. The sky there is some of the coolest sky. Whether it rained there and then it would clear and the sky would get these colors. But listen, it's a great place to play. They haven't figured it out. I'm calling for them to go back to that 95, 96 Blake Street Bombers, baby. Let's go. Let's bring those boys back. Let's try to outslug everybody.
No doubt about it. Colorado is one of the most beautiful stadiums. And honestly, Coors Field revitalized lower downtown. That's why they call it Lodo, because Coors Field, and it was a disgusting area downtown before Coors Field went in there. And they really did a wonder for the downtown area. It's a beautiful park. It's a beautiful city. It's just unfortunate what's happening with the team. But you're right. It's not just the home runs. The outfield in that park is ridiculous. It's not just the home runs that get you. It's, the doubles turned into triples because of the vast outfield at Coors Field. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here on Foul Territory. I am headed to the Derby tomorrow, AJ. Britt Giroli is going to be hosting Foul Territory. So we're excited to have her back on the show. She's tremendous, does tremendous work for The Athletic. Do you want me to place a bet for you through my Twin Spires app on Jayson Werth's horse, Flying Mohawk? Yeah. I'm going to do it.
I don't know anything about horse racing, but after that interview, I mean, am I not going to be watching the Derby, rooting for the Flying Mohawk? I might put my hair in a mohawk just to
there you
root
go.
for Flying Mohawk.
And by the way, Toby Keith, God rest his soul, his horse, what the heck is it called? Render Judgment. Render Judgment is finally going to race. That was one of his lifetime dreams, and it's going to be coming to fruition. So there we go. All right. For AJ Pierzynski, for Erik Kratz, for Claudia, for Jeremy, for Mark, for all of us at Foul Territory, I'm Alanna Rizzo. We will see you tomorrow. Britt Giroli at the helm. Erik. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.